do. We're going to take a look at a lot of other things in the city, be active in the elections coming up in November, and as time and energy warrants, we're going to take a look at many other things the city has done. We're about 10 years out from River Renaissance. I think it'd be appropriate to look back and put the kind of analysis we're doing to the Upjohn study today to River Renaissance. Possibly look at 53rd and Eastern and the Prairie Heights development or the industrial park out north, and provide a reasoned free market look at those type of things. We're not naysayers here, and I want to make that very clear. I was born in Davenport, grew up on the Illinois side of the river. I left for 5 years to go to D.C. for work, spent 2 years in suburban Chicago, and when I became a single parent and had custody of my kids, I came back to the Quad Cities and have lived here, owned a home, because I could buy a home here, and it would have been very difficult in D.C. and Chicago. Owned that home for 15 years. I worked for a company that's been here for 70 years. Most of the people who I've worked with today have similar roots in the community. And I don't want to be disrespectful, but in a lot of cases, when we see these ideas come up here, I wonder if these are not the corporate transferees who are shuffling in and out of the city and wanting the Quad Cities to become the community they didn't get transferred to. We have some very unique things here that are very attractive for people, and we need to enhance and work with them. As the PAC goes forward, we're going to spend a good deal of time and a good deal of energy using local resources. Bill and I have done studies for the home builders and have collaborated on a number of things. There's a lot of good local resources. We don't intend to go out of town to buy our opinions and to bring forth our comments on things for that. Now, as for the Davenport Promise, we're going to take a lot of time today going through the Upjohn study. I made a point, because I don't like things being taken out of context, to try to grab as much context to these things as I can. So forgive me for the extra text, but I don't want to be misleading. As we looked at this study, we felt this comment here is the most relevant quote that comes out of there. A high level of uncertainty clouds those fiscal estimates. And that comes straight from the report. We're going to be asked to vote. Just a sample ballot here. The sample ballot reads that we're moving 30 cents or 30% of the 1 cent sales tax for the Davenport Promise and another 1% for public safety. Well, we ask, why are we doing this? Where is the problem here? Population is growing, and we'll talk about that later. Employment is growing. Why am I fighting with this? Employment is growing, and the statistics on that very clearly point that we're outperforming the rest of the nation. January to January, the nation went from 4.9% unemployment to 7.6% unemployment here. Nationwide, Iowa went from 3.8 to 4.8, but December of 2007 to December of 2008, Scott County went from 4.7% unemployment to 4.8% unemployment. So we're stable. Home values are stable. Good article in the Quad City Times today that had the realtors there, especially comparable to other areas. We've had no drop in home values here of any substantive nature. Quad Cities are very livable. We've won awards for that. And we're very affordable. We believe that the decline in enrollment at the Davenport schools is a very appropriate and a very market-based response to either the quality of the education or the perception of the quality of the education. Perception and reality often mix together quite well. That's contrary, because our private schools in the area are full and growing. Homeschool is increasing, and they had to put a cap on the outward enrollment within the community so that more people would go. We believe that any returnees that come in from the Davenport Promise Program, that those slots will be filled by people who want to get out of the Davenport schools. Other solutions for Davenport schools, we want to be very clear here. Study after study after study has shown that throwing more money at our public schools has not increased the quality of the education there. And I think we've seen that across the last 40 years as we've thrown more and more money, and education costs have risen at a rate much higher than inflation, that it has not improved the quality of public education. So throwing more money at the Davenport schools here is not going to work to change either the perception or the reality, whichever it might be. We believe that market-driven solutions have. Very, very impressed with President Obama's selection of the Chicago Public Schools head for his education secretariat. He is a very strong proponent of charter schools, and he is a very strong proponent of merit pay for teachers. Both are ideas that we would encourage the city of Davenport to consider in order to improve, not city of Davenport, but the school district to consider in order to improve the quality of the education here. And if we're being compared to inner city schools, then I think we need to take a look at what's happened in Milwaukee and Cleveland, where they've established tax credit and voucher programs which have proven to lower the cost of the education and improve the quality of the education for inner city students. As I was doing the research for this, I ran across a quote from Andrew Colson, the director of Center for Educational Freedom at the Cato Institute. And I think it capsulizes what's happened in the last 40 years with our school systems. As the economy and as the world has moved forward with market-driven answers, the schools have not. And in order for them to make the progress that we've made as a society in other areas, we need to make a shift to a free, parent-driven marketplace. We need to let parents take charge of education and take it out of the hands of the bureaucrats and the politicians. And that's the solution to education, we believe.